will send out via email.
Good morning, councillors. Good morning, acting MM. Morning, corporate director. Morning, all directors present. Morning to all the officials that are with us, and also greetings to those who are joining us online, if there are any. Today is the 21 of November 2025, and the time is 11:05. Our first item is the opening, which I already greeted all. Item number 2 is the attendance, which I believe is circulating for all of us to sign. Item number 3 is application for leave of absence. I received one from Councillor Tembela Mhlana, who is assisting the Human Relief Organization in his ward. Item number 4, which is declaration of interest. Any councillor that would like to declare. Item number 5, confirmation of minutes for previous meetings, which we have none. Item number 6 is statement and communication by the executive mayor and the speaker. I have nothing on my side, Madam Mayor. Do you have, speaker? Item number 6, consideration of reports of non-delegated matters. Items, can the administration please take us through the items to the reports?
F6/1/357 hearings/35. Appointment of members to the disciplinary board for financial misconduct, page 8.
The item is serving 1 p.m.
Mr. Speaker, the urgency with which this meeting was called hasn't really given us all opportunity to go through all these items together. May I ask for a 5-minute caucus, just so that we as a caucus can discuss the item, and then we can proceed.
5 minutes caucus is granted.
Thank you, Madam.
Thank you. So it's 8 past now, and 30 minutes past we are back. We are back now from the 5 minutes caucus that was asked by Councillor Bill. One Bill.
Thank you, Speaker. It was just a technicality, Speaker. I want to propose that we go with the recommendations made by Mako yesterday. The only recommendation I think should take out is recommendation number 5, as it now appears that we cannot delegate the authority to anyone else. Council must make that appointment. So I think let's stick with the Mako recommendations of yesterday, excluding recommendation number 1.5.
Make no recommendation.
Councillor Swart?
To speak before you close. Speaker, the recommendations that are here are recommendations by the acting municipal manager.
Yes.
We don't see the make or recommendations. Can we be taken through about what were the recommendations by make? It's by text. Which one? That's it. It's only one point that it's different of you.
Councillor Swart, then Councillor Mhlana.
Well,
Oh, okay, okay.
no.
Oh, you were still on the floor, okay. That's why Councillor Swart, then Councillor Mhlana. Where's mine?
Speaker,
Councillor Tapai.
in these recommendations by the executive mayor, 1.3 has been written bold. Why the manager legal services stroke legal officer? Is it being taken off or what? The way it has been written? We just want clarity.
Madam Mayor?
Thank you. Very good question. The reason why it's in bold was just to highlight that there's a difference in the recommendations from the acting municipal manager and the recommendations in Mako. The reason why the legal officer was added to the recommendations was for in the absence of the legal manager being available, because the person does have the capacity to then be able to assist. Because what we find is that we establish the board, but capacity is sometimes an issue because of people maybe not being available. And we also discuss the issue of record keeping, etc., etc. So the legal services or legal officer was just to make a, how can I say, a provision for that.
Tapai.
I don't want to make a dialogue, Speaker. I'll rather give to other councillors. I'll come back.
Councillor Swart?
Thank you, Speaker. Speaker, I just wanted to understand Councillor Nell's proposal is 1.13 to 1.4 has been the proposal. If that is correct, then I was going to second it, but I know Councillor Mhlana was wanting to say something.
Councillor?
Yeah, no, I want to just add on what was raised by the Chief Whip of the ANC. Because if you look at other recommendations, there is no substitute. Why must there be a substitute in this one of manager legal services stroke legal officer? Because my understanding is that those are two different portfolios or positions. And my understanding, or in fact, I wanted to ask as well, the meaning of if the manager is not available, does it mean if the manager does not accept to serve on the board, or if he's off sick or off duty, then the legal officer will then assume those responsibilities. And that on its own, it's going to pose a serious challenge, because there might be inconsistencies if we must substitute a person. So we'll rather go with one individual than having two. If we're having two people in 1.3, then let's have substitute in all the other positions as well.
Speaker,
Senator Tabai, then I will give to the director.
again, Speaker, it raises eyebrows, this thing. I'm going to make an example of SCM processes when there is tender processing. All those people that are supposed to be there, if some of them are not there, it gets postponed until all the relevant people are there so as to carry on with that tender process. Why now in this, there must be substitutes and so on? It doesn't sound right. You see, because a proper process, it's when there are people representing this a particular board. There is no need for substitution. It must follow its way of creation, not substituting. I really don't understand, and I don't agree that there must be substitutes.
Councillor Mangaba, and then after Councillor Mangaba, then Parade Director.
Thank you, Speaker. At the risk of sounding like a dissenting voice to what my two colleagues have already alluded to, I've had the privilege of actually attending the workshops of MPEC in quite a number of times. And if you still recall, around the UIF, there's an acronym that is actually used in finance. When we spoke of the disciplinary board, and we spoke of just the backlog of or the delay thereof in terms of how cases are actually attended, it was brought to our attention that ideally financial misconduct must be brought to the disciplinary board at the very first 6 days that it's actually identified. And then issues with this municipalities that there's been delays where that is concerned because of the either the DC board not being set up, or if not that, one of them is inability to attend. And then I think another important factor that we need to actually zoom into is the fact that the point of needing either a manager legal services or a legal officer, it is around legal implications or legal direction of it, which would then mean in the event that, because we've seen it most recently, that in as reliable as we think our manager at legal service is, there's quite a number of days where when we require of him, he is actually not in. This should mean now if there's actually decisions that must be made, or there's a board that must be sitting, those reschedules actually must be done. So for me, if Director Corporate Services could actually guide us in terms of just saying, or just breaking it down exactly, that are we moving the right direction when we say the role of manager legal services and the role of a legal officer on that board is actually the same and can be achieved? Or rather, does the legal officer have the capacity to actually service us as we should in the absence of the manager legal service? I think once we get those things out of the way, then we'll be comfortable whether or not to actually go with the recommendations.
Thank you. Director.
Speaker, good morning. Councillors. Let me start from the last. The legal advisor for this municipality is an admitted item of the High Court. That is rights and appearing rights in the High Court, fully meeting all the requirements that are envisaged in terms of those regulations there. And for the to make this board active, I think it's very important that we have an alternative in terms of the legal manager that we have in the institution. To couple that, to give a true reflection of the discussions on the issue of the alternative. In terms of regulation, there are also disqualifying factors that are listed in the regulations, and it came up during the MACO that Mr. Krauts at some point many years ago was struck off the roll. So when we read the regulations, we could not come to the conclusion that his struck off the roll actually qualifies as a disqualifying factor. So we then therefore said administration will, with the trust of this council, if it accepts, we will go through, because we do not know the facts of Mr. Klaus being struck off the roll, and they are listed and there are definitions in terms of the regulations, and we did not see whether it meets those definitions. So we then therefore said we are going to look into that, and if we agree that it meets the definitions for Mr. Kraut to be disqualified, then the legal officer will be available to fill that position, because the law does not allow us, and it prescribed that the manager must come from the institution, the legal person must come from the institution. We therefore then said Zanele meets requirements since she's an admitted attorney and all of that. So that was the background for us to come to the conclusion that either it's going to Mr. Krauts and also Zanele, and also just for the continuity and the activeness of that board, it will be very, 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 very good that we have an alternative to Mr. Krauts to attend to those meetings, since it's now apparently a big issue, this thing of the board in terms of AG and national treasurer and all of that. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Advocate. Councillor Taplanch.
Speaker, I would be fond to say that we withdraw this item to an extent, because this is what I'm saying. We are making a decision here now because of what the municipality has experienced. But if you look at the regulation of May 2014, it says a senior manager of the league. It doesn't point out a substitute. But why we have brought in a substitute, it's because we have found out things on a municipal level. But as for the law that we are quoting, it does not make provision for a substitute. So hence I'm saying, for us to rather withdraw this item, make sure we got everything in place, either seek external, because you can establish this body external as well, or make use of external processes for this body. Because our decision here to put in this recommendation of legal officer, it is because we as the municipality have picked up this person is not eligible to go there, that person there. But when we quote on the May 2014, where it says a senior manager legal service, and does not make provision for substitute. So that is why I would request that we, until we have our house in order, can we then follow that process to either withdraw the item and make sure we can come back 48 hours anytime. Thank you, Speaker.
Thank you, Advocate. Then Councillor Khan.
Okay. Speaker, thank you. The regulations, the way that we are You can search, I can even give you evidence now. There are municipalities in this country that do not have senior managers, senior legal managers, as like this municipality. You are correct to say that we don't have a senior manager legal services. And the Act says senior manager legal services. But when you explore the interpretation, it means a person with legal qualification that is accepted in the legal field. Because other small municipalities, they totally do not even have in their structure, even a legal manager, but they have a legal advisor that is advising the council. So you can't limit this interpretation. Otherwise, in NISA, there is no senior legal manager. In George, there is a deputy legal director. There is no senior legal manager, it's a deputy legal director. So if you are going to limit yourself to this terminology of this act, what is meant by the act? You must have a person with a legal qualification to serve in that board. That's what it's meant. So that's what we're trying to do here to achieve. Thanks.
Follow-up, Speaker.
Thank you, Councillor Tekans.
I don't dispute. You see what I'm saying? The way you're explaining it is based on the senior manager, that's on the legal manager. It does not make provision to say we must make use of a substitute. Let's debate around the manager setup. We don't have a senior manager, that's correct. But it does not make the way we go about it. It's to make provision for a substitute. Whatever the name is there that we don't have, it only makes provision for one sort of name. We don't have that person, so it must be one sort of name. But here we make provision for a substitute. That's my question, is that can't we go and make sure we have everything in place, come back again, and then make sure we are sorted? The substitute part
The hand online.
is what brings us into difficulty or problems here. Thank you, I'm done.
Thank you very much. Let me first give Mr. Allen, Kraus, your hand is up, Mr. Kraus, and I'm coming back to you. Mr. Kraus, your hand is up.
Mr. Peter?
Kraus must be chosen, sir. He's affected by this item. We are discussing him. He is the legal manager of the institution. Mr. Kraus, please lower your hand. You are not going to speak on this item.
Where's Mr. Kraus?
The yellow.
Yeah, it's the one, Ellen, the hand.
Oh.
Please, you were not allowed to speak on this item. Lower your hand. You will speak on other items that do not affect you and your position. Thank you.
Thank you. Councillor Seti, then Councillor Mangaba. Councillor Mfana.
Chan.
Yeah, you see, Speak, I really don't want us to fight today. I seriously don't want us to fight today. And the executive must be honest. We need to be led by honest. Because when we question this thing, the executive mayor was directed, the question was directed to her. And she responded that if the manager is absent, she did not explain what the director is saying to us now. So, Speaker, we need to be led by honesty. And if Mr. Kraus does not meet the criteria, you're supposed to inform us that Mr. Kraus does not meet the criteria, then therefore, here is the legal office. The bone of contention here is the substitute. Why must we have a substitute? Because the moment you have a substitute, there will be inconsistencies. I've never sat in the board, but I understand there will be inconsistencies once we have a substitute. So we just need to be led by honesty. Let's be honest, please.
Councillor Seti, then Councillor Mangaba.
Thank you very much, Speaker. I think I have the same perspective with Councillor Blanche. I'm not going to go there now. But my question is that who is supposed to be the chairperson of this board, Speaker, if I may ask?
Advocate, can you answer that?
You had mentioned my name after I said.
I just wanted that question of Councillor said to be answered so that I can.
Thank you.
Okay. The advice is let me take other questions, then they will be answered at once. Councillor Mangaba.
Mine, Speaker, is not even a question. I heard the executive mayor saying immediately after their caucus that 1.5 is actually meant to actually be removed from recommendations, right? I just need to confirm if that's actually the direction.
DM, are you going to answer that?
Maybe partly I will answer some of the things.
Okay.
Speaker,
Because here we are just taking the questions that so that okay.
Is that information?
Just came through the message box there, chat box, that is actually going to stop the argument. It's the crowds stating that you will not accept on record the appointment to the board. You will refuse, you will not accept the appointment.
Okay, there
So
is.
then we will need to change the recommendations to leave that
Legal office
responsibility to the legal office. Thank you very much.
while at Speaker, I'm still on the floor. I was expecting a yes or no so I can go on. I don't expect an explanation. Question is, when they came back from the caucus, what is it clear or am I on the right track in saying they've removed 1.5? That is all I need, not an explanation.
Okay.
So that I can actually go on now with my deliberation.
To you, Speaker, if I may.
I hear you, Councillor Mangaba. DM?
Thank you, Madam Speaker. One, legislation saying that a disciplinary board may have this, and it listed. So as it was giving us in Doka May, it has allowed us to go and look if the advice that was given or where it was said to us at MACO was showing us things that we thought of 2022. And in that situation, it was shooting 2022 May. That doesn't say we need to be stuck on that. It's May. Hence, when we went out, we came
I'm
out.
still answering my question.
Yes, I'm coming there. And wait for me, I'm still talking. It's not a point of order, that one. So when we come back, it's not a point of order. He must learn to respect. When we came back, we knew that, adding up to what now Mr. Klauscher said, that we came back knowing that we've got a person that has qualification inside, that is Ms. Zanele, that will be the one of illegal officer. And secondly, we're not going with 1.5 because the delegation remain with the council. So we're taking out 1.5, we're remaining with those 4 people there, taking away the manager legal services, taking the one of legal officer, adding up with what Mr. Klaus now has said, because we're respecting the fact that Mr. Klaus, we didn't go back to him and understand the things that the director deliberated on about his searching out. And the fact that the mayor didn't mention those things, as Councillor Kana is saying, there's no honesty. It was a fact that you can't have a pre-determination of things without somebody's given time to talk about it and answer about it. As the explanation was saying, then he was. And even in that case, he was used then. But those things we wanted to go and check if we've got the right information. Hence, we say in the absence of the information that doesn't meet the regulation, we have a legal officer inside. So when we came back, we knew that the legal officer will be the one and 1.5 to be out. That in that case, I'm supporting the recommendation that was brought by Councillor. I'm supporting it.
Closing now. We have
Yes, I'm
meet now.
closing it.
Or you don't want to discuss any.
That's what I'm saying. Look, when we support,
No, speaker, no TM.
we're supporting.
I think we are suffocating the debate now immediately because you know your speaker. Once you support, she will
That's
close
why,
it.
that's why I'm disempowered because
You see,
I-
that is why all the time we say, now you had your chance. And subsequently to that, you want to close the debate by seconding. That is unfair. Because no,
You can't determine the unfairness of the.
no, it's unfair because they,
Answer the question that were there, Councillor Kapai.
but don't close the debate, but don't close the debate by seconding.
Oh, you can't determine for me when to close or not.
But you know.
Second.
But then what about the other? Because we're still on the floor.
Questions.
no, but you are closing it because I was expecting an answer. I can go on.
No, but you know,
Directing.
but
You are directing us, directing you as well.
Things there.
Tell us.
I was not with,
I am talking to you.
but TM,
I was not with
you
you.
know your speaker. You know your speaker.
Last time I checked, I've
Just say
given
to
to
close it.
PM to speak, and then after her, I didn't make any hands. Councillor Mangaba, because you were asking a question before her.
Question will be pointless at this point, and this is one thing that always happens in council, where you allow people to close items while we are actually still on them. I do not want to add the thing. Thank you.
Hello, Councillor Mangaba, I didn't know that.
I said,
Say that, but I didn't know that. Now close the item. Administration, can you please take us now through the recommendation? Have you got it? Can you please? How they have.
You see,
Nobody, he was waiting for the
you spoke very nicely on behalf of women this morning. And just like that, a woman
They must be, that's what
discussing the debate.
you have. Councillors, I'm moving now to the next item. The item is proposed and closed. Can we please move now to the next item?
Will cry ke wena, ulila ufe ke wena.
It is.
Belulile ube ngathi.
Yeah, I wanted it to be summarized so that we are all clear.
So we removed 1.2, only remove the legal manager, then put legal office. And we remove 1.5 totally.
Yeah.
And I just want to inform council that at any given point in time, when we have properly consulted, we want to bring 1.5 to the board, we'll be allowed to. Because this came as an emergency because of the pressure from National Treasury and Provincial Treasury. But at any given point, you have the name, you have consulted, you have the competencies that you require, you may bring and co-opt at 1.5 to that board. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Actually, in
Moving to the next item.
section community services, C/4/314/25, 2025-2026 draft seasonal plan, page 24.
It's Friday today. I don't want you to mess up my mood.
Councillor Kapai, can you please remove the sunglasses in the council?
No, you were supposed to be on my side because it's Friday today. I don't want DM to mess up with my mood.
I was on your side every day. I was on your side. Mr. Analyst?
Speaker, this item came to PC. There was a lot of discussions around it. One of the things that we pointed out, even though we've got a new traffic circle, we have requested that we still keep an eye on the traffic flow on our link 2 and in that area. As you can see, our recommendations, and that we requested that our seasonal plan be not tabled at this time of the year, but that we should table it in October, or at the very least in October. With that, I'm supporting the recommendation from Community Services.
Mhlana,
Oh, just clarity, Speaker, what is traffic wardens? Do we have traffic wardens? I don't know if this is a correct question. We have traffic wardens.
which page
No, there, it's there in the recommendation.
recommendations? Director,
Because I've never seen.
Director of Services, can you explain the word?
Madam Speaker, Madam Speaker, current of structure. You know, not have traffic wardens, but the people that are performing traffic duties that are not traffic officers, they are called traffic wardens. That would mean the point duty officers. They're not allowed traffic wardens.
Mhlana,
So does that mean those people will be your law enforcement officers that will perform that duty of traffic warden? Yeah, so can we Speaker then change the traffic wardens to law enforcement officers?
I have to say point.
Point duties.
No, no traffic officers.
Point duty
No,
officer.
no.
Point duty officer.
There are no robots in Transvaal.
What you intend to have?
We're going to have them in Guam.
We're leaving it as traffic warden, changing it as traffic officer.
Point duty officer.
Point duty officer. Okay with that, point duty officer.
Yeah, no, I'm fine.
We
I
maybe
don't want to further debate. I don't want
let me
to.
make sure we're all on the same page and talking the same term, because at the end of the day, whether it's traffic or law enforcement that's designated to go there, we need someone in authority to take control if we need to.
If we are challenged by rich people, we must be able to reference here.
Director,
Because they're selling the points, that's why they are called point duty officers, where there is concession. So we use them. See, they will work in conjunction with traffic officers that are patrolling. Whenever they see the needs to control the point, then they step outside and direct the traffic, so it's point duty officer.
Should we change it to point duty officers? So if the proposer is happy, then I will second it with that change.
thank you. Next item,
C/4/3/20/11/25, funding of the Big Child Program, page 84.
item is 7, Councillor Mangaba.
Thank you, Speaker. I had to raise my hand first on this item so that I'm actually placed on record, so that whoever still wants to actually spread propaganda about where we stand as council where this item is concerned, it may be registered on YouTube for everyone to actually know. Speaker, I think we were all clear the last we said with this item that as council, we understand what the initiative is about, and we support the initiative. However, I'm going to have a question that I'm posing to the accounting officer, because part of the responsibilities that we had actually or mandated him the last we were here was to actually have this handled in his office. Hence, I was surprised to actually find it here. Perhaps it's actually a chance for me to actually let it be known that ideally everyone in council is in support of the initiative. That's the reason why we had pushed for an MOU when we actually had the first attack. Allow me to read this into record. The municipal finance management does indeed allow municipalities to fund such initiatives over consecutive years. However, such continued funding is additional upon strict compliance requirements. The recipient must submit audited financial statements and verifiable proof of expenditure, clearly demonstrating how the municipal funds were utilized in alignment with the intended purpose. 2, the Sharks Porters agreement currently allows them to provide us safety and monitoring services to our beaches at an annual cost, which forms part of that agreement, which was around 850,000. The organization has employed 14 individuals, and we are quite aware of that. However, in their recent presentation, they stated that their fund will be depleted by the end of this month, despite the ongoing contract we have with them, which is running up until next year, June. From a municipal efficiency and socio-economic standpoint, it is worth noting that the budget of 2 million, if channeled through internal municipal structures, could potentially create employment for more. However, it could also create an issue if it is not facilitated accordingly. Hence, when we made our entries the last we were here, we're clear that the presentation came at a rather unfortunate time, because it looks to me as though if they need cash injection, this should have been tabled at adjustment budget so that we are actually able to move monies around. The acting MM, who's actually a permanent CFO of this municipality, would tell you, we've set and we've tried to devise means and ways to ensure that we assist while we color between the lines where legislation is concerned. It is also important to acknowledge that the Sharks Porters core function is tourism-centered, enhancing beach safety and promoting the tourism experience, which would open another conversation that in the event that we do not have now capacity to actually sustain them, would it be an advisable way to actually engage with Plet Tourism, who's already running the tourism aspect of this municipality and this town? In summary, while the MFMA supports multi-year funding for NPOs, compliance and accountability must be enforced. The current Sharks Porters arrangement warrants closer scrutiny regarding expenditure compliance, employment efficiency, as well as functional alignment. A strategic review may determine whether the municipality should continue funding under the current model or integrated service under the Tourism SLA for improved oversight and economic returns. I'm reading this on record, Speaker, so that it must be known again when people are actually disseminating nonsensical information on the weekends that some Mangaba is actually against Sharks Sporting. They must know that we in this council had decided that we see the importance of it. However, the missing aspect of it is that the agreement is stating something that is completely opposite to what is actually being requested. And again, in as much as we would want the funding to actually be granted, it must be covered by the legislative transcripts that we have in council that we are actually serving under. And over and above that, before all of that can be done, there must be an amendment to the memorandum of understanding. Thank you.
Thank you. It was Councillor Olivier, then Councillor Teblanche, and then Councillor Mhlana, and Councillor Agabai, then the mayor. So we go in that.
Yeah.
Councillor Teblanche.
To be honest, I actually wanted to ask, because I know they're going to kill this item. That's why I knew it, but luckily I got after the councillor. Speaker, we are about to give 1.1 million at the time when Bitou is really struggling with 4 basic services. That's Sharks Porters. We are not against it. Speaker, what I want to draw our attention to in the agreement, point 18. Now, if you look at the presentation versus last item that this council had, that this council dealt with, when we dealt with the item in October, there was no real danger about finances in that report. There was no real danger. A presentation started off, and if you keep in mind, point 18 of the agreement, starting with 18.4. Notwithstanding anything to the contrary contained here in the Bitou municipality with privileges to any other rights which it may have in law shall be entitled to cancel this agreement immediately if the other part, 8.4.1, fails to make and implement the necessary plans to ensure that all funds obtained through this agreement are expended for the intended purpose by the last day of the Bitou municipality's financial year. They've signed on that. In the presentation, they then further go on to 18.4. Further down that, let me just get there, it's here. They are now also, through their presentation, which is stated here, they are threatening us, of which in this agreement, they are not allowed to threaten anything of this municipality. Because now they are saying if they don't get funds by the end of November, it would be their last day on the job, which is a threat. And I'm seeing it if I read their contract. Again, they have signed to say that they will use their money up until the last financial year day of the municipality in the year when they've signed it. Now, it's concerning that we are now going to amend this thing to give them funds while they've already signed. And the recommendation says that we will amend now. But we have already decided to give. For now, I might not make it back for a follow-up because they're going to second. But in the event, if I make it back, I've got something further down the line, Madam Speaker.
No, say it now. Say it now. Say it now.
Oh, but you guys are not the speaker.
I'm requesting also.
Some kind of confirm, please.
Speaker,
Interest of this thing.
Exactly. Short time.
Speaker,
Participant.
Standing down.
You should.
you know, Speaker, yesterday,
2024.
can we speak?
Can we please allow Councillor Mhlanga to speak?
Yesterday, Speaker, on a council WhatsApp,
We need to get
a video of the deputy executive mayor was posted.
in.
And what she was saying in that video is what now, I'm uncomfortable with this thing of shark spotters. What makes me uncomfortable is the canvassing that is done by the management of shark spotters. Sending employees to councillors.
You must come get dramatic at my house. Imagine.
Sending their employees to councillors and threatening to retrench those employees. And the worry is that we are seeing discrepancies here as councillors. And yet, because we're worried that people are going to be eaten by sharks, we must take decisions. And those decisions tomorrow are going to bind us, as per the video that was circulated yesterday into our group. So it's not only officials were told, also councillors will have to account. Now, with the discrepancies that are there, I think we also need to be advised. What do we do from here moving forward? Because there is a memorandum of understanding in place currently with the shark spotters. We support the shark spotters, but we do not support the tendencies.
The entitlement.
The tendencies and the entitlement we do not support. Because you cannot send people to councillors to canvass a particular decision. Because if that was to be done by our people, it was going to be called corruption. It was going to be called corruption. We're busy with corruption. So that's what I wanted to raise. Even when the municipal manager meets with shark spotters, I think we need to call them into order. They are out of order. They cannot send their employees to canvass for a decision, using their disparities to canvass for a particular decision and the pressure that they are putting in this council. Thanks.
Thank you. Councillor Tsapai, then the executive mayor.
Yes, Speaker. Speaker, this program is of a good cause. And it played a very crucial role, especially the spotters. And we don't have a problem about this program. But where we are going to harm, Speaker, is that we must not be hamstrung. I'm going to repeat what councillors are saying. We must not be hamstrung. That, well, if Bitou municipality doesn't give us money, you are out of jobs. That's blackmailing. It is wrong, that. And it shows arrogance to me. Because if you come here and put a nice program of yours and talk about its successes, and you mention your challenges, then there is an executive here, you start engaging them about financial implications and so on and so forth. That is why council has got an executive. You go and influence an executive and engage with an executive. They buy your idea. They come back to council and say, these are challenges that you are faced with. Now there's no one who has been bitten by a shark in this town. Then there's somebody who lost her life. And the executive mayor had to bring us together because the town was under pressure. But now the same entity comes here and put us under pressure that we must give them. This is not our money. It's taxpayers' money. And what Councillor Mangaba was saying, it's correct that, look, there are books here. I'm just going to make a very, very simple example. I claimed a phone from the insurance, and the insurance paid the municipality. And I was saying to the acting MM, that's my money, give it to me. And the MM said to me, no, there are processes. It's going to happen this way, and it's not going to be given to you. It's the way you think. It's like that. They must not come here and think we're going to do things haphazardly. It's wrong. Next time, they must meet the executive and have communication lessons. They must be taught in how to engage, because that was not engagement, that's what they were doing here. You see, by threatening us that they are pulling off, so people are going to be bitten by sharks after they have pulled off. So, Speaker, we are pleading with the executive that there must be compliance and accountability in whatever that we are going to do here. We need accountability and compliance. That must be compliant. You will see how to do it, but there must be compliance because the video that was viral in our group. You see what the deputy executive mayor was saying there. She should shiver in her seat also. That look, we must not do things the way we think we want, because at the end of the day, we are going to be also responsible. It's no longer officials now. If officials are doing something wrong, we will ask questions, where were you? And we will be involved. That is why we are engaging this way and not voting.
If we have to vote.
No, we must start engage first, and immediately after we find each other, there are no loopholes, we vote. Nobody must just raise their hand and say seconded.
Thank you,
Speaker.
Okay, MM. It's all quiet and listen the MM.
Okay, no, thanks, Speaker. Speaker, there was a question regarding the audited financial statements. Yes, we did receive the audited financial statements, and I did peruse the audited financial statements. From the traits of the audited financial statements, I could confirm that the monies that the Sharks products was dispersed, they were also incorporated in the financial statements. However, I did engage the organization to further clarify in terms of the expenditure that is related to the amounts that has been dispersed. So I am happy with the financial statement. Hope that they are audited financial statements. They are not done by accounting officer. It was an audit firm that audited their statements.
Thank you, MM. Executive Mayor.
Thank you, Speaker. Speaker, only thing I want to say is that I've heard that we talk about tourism. Yes, indeed, tourism is important, but so is the lives of every person that lives and resides in Plettenberg Bay. We must not forget that the beach does not just belong to tourists. We are entering the holiday season. We must ensure in terms of our constitutional mandate that people are safe. Yes, I understand the compliance, and hence the issues of compliance is why it took us such a long time to come back to council and to do these recommendations. But at the end of the day, we will have to relook in terms of how we actually are currently doing this agreement. Nothing is new. We have an existing agreement. The only issue is now the amendment. And the only issue is, as it says there, that when we move on to the adjustment budget, that we must then be given the permission to go and look for the savings and also to look for possible grant funding. So at the end of the day, I understand the challenge, but what I want to say is that we have a responsibility in this town to keep people safe. Sharks are not going to choose. Are they going to bite a tourist? Are they going to bite a resident? And we have incidents where people actually die. So we cannot play with this decision. I understand the issue of compliance and the issues of this and that. None of us are reckless here to come here with an item that is non-compliant. So at the end of the day, I want to say that let us also practice and be responsible with them. Let's be responsible with them. Speaker, with that, I am. And is there councillors here who chose not to finish their own sentences? No, I am now seconding that proposal.
Thank you, councillors. Oh, you're moving. Councillors.
I am saying.
There's still hands though.
Councillors.
There's still hands. There's still hands.
I think
You are to close the item.
last time when I gave you after the item was to say won't matter.
It matters now.
Go like
It matters now.
And Councillor, please. Now to item number 8.
Napandi councillor kwakho. Oh, mistake yenu leyo.
You will only call us into order, ne? And then you let them speak.
Councillors, we are moving. Councillors, what I have always done.
Always.
Okay, now.
Even if the item is closed, I will still give a councillor to speak. But in the previous item, when I was doing that, Councillor Mangaba said no.
With reason.
He doesn't want to.
With reason.
Matter. So now I am not allowing any hand after an item has been closed. We are now moving to item number 8.
Oh.
I see.
Are now in item number 8. The info meeting.
Speaker, you see, speaker.
We have none. Item number 9. Recording present.
Jessica Noreen,
Can you correct you?
given people.
I have my head up.
You are the name.
We are recording now.
Councillor Nokuzola Poinsett here, Kolopi present.
Council President.
Iligama bazali babelungiselela xa ungafundanga.
Councillor present.
Mr. Swart present.
Say it.
Elinzima.
First, we are recording now.
No.
No, I'm not taking my hand.
Because I wanted to raise.
Councillor Country, can you please record yourself? Because I'm gonna close the meeting now.
The front of the magistrate.
What did you raise a
Where are you living?
I'm a white hat.
Speak.
On name is Pungi Pusaka against present. We gave you Item number 10 is the closure of the meeting. Thank you very much, councillors.
Platform of a white hat.
My hand was up before the second. Oh, what to vote against the recommendation.
Let the man join while it lasts.
Really, look at the report, Speaker. I wanted to vote against.